Ladies and gentlemen, this is the forum for the race for mayor for the city of Rancho Cucamonga. Both candidates who are appearing on a ballot are with us today, following the same format that we've been following this evening. 2 minutes for introductions, 3 minutes to respond to questions, and then 2 minutes to conclude. We will be starting with Mr. Michael. Mr. Michael.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to just share with you how happy I am once again that the Chamber of Commerce is holding this candidate forum to allow our public opportunity to determine who they want to vote for on November 4th. My name is Dennis Michael. I'm the mayor for the city of Rancho Cucamonga and a very proud mayor for a very wonderful city. My background, I was born and raised in this city. I've spent my whole life, 67 years, giving back to this community, and I continue to do so. And just after graduating from high school and attending Chaffey College, I joined the Air National Guard, spent 16 years in the Air National Guard wearing the uniform of the United States Air Force. After concluding that time, I also joined the Rancho Cucamonga Fire Department. Back then it was Foothill Fire Protection District. I promoted through the ranks and served as the city's fire chief for 19 years until my retirement in December of 2003. Thereafter, I ran for city council in 2004 and had the fortunate opportunity to be elected to office again in 2008 when I finished my first term. And then in 2010, I was elected mayor. My priorities are going to be your priorities, and they always will be. Maintaining and improving public safety services, our fire, our police, our emergency preparedness, as well as our animal care and animal control division. Small businesses are a huge priority for me. Our small business community is the backbone of our city, and I can tell you that economic development is an incredible, huge priority for this city and this city council. And lastly, and probably most importantly, the fiscal responsibility and the fiscal sustainability for the future of this city. It was mentioned earlier, we may be suffering potential bankruptcy. I am here to tell you, our city has never been more fiscally sound. In fact, during my leadership, our city was awarded the highest credit rating it's ever received any time in the history of our community, and we did that during a recessionary period. That is because we have very sound reserves and a very healthy and careful workforce that works together with the city in partnership to bring the great services that we have in this community. Thank you.
Mr. Moffett.
Good evening. My name is Jim Moffett, and I'm a resident of Rancho Cucamonga since 1972. I am a very successful businessman. I am a veteran of the United States Air Force on active duty from 1952 to 1956, 4.5 years active. I was in during the Korean conflict, but I make it very clear, I never got to Korea, but that's one of the reasons I joined. But the reason I'm running for mayor is we need a change. Too many things are being swept under the rug and not being addressed. We are not a business-friendly city. We rank 49th, where Fontana ranks 4th. They say we're business-friendly. If you've ever had somebody come in and inspect your building, you would be really surprised of the nitpicking that they do. And it's also, when the code enforcers come around to homes, they treat people like criminals. When they walk in and threaten people that they're going to fine them or put them in jail because their lawns are messy, there's something wrong with this picture. And it's time for a change. Thank you.
Our first question, many have commented on what appears to be a lack of development improvements in the western and southern portions of the city as compared to the northeastern portions. Do you see such a disparity? And if so, how would you address this issue? Mr. Michael.
Yes, there is a disparity when you look at the western versus the eastern portion, and that disparity occurs because prior to incorporation, this city was being developed under County of San Bernardino standards. And one of the biggest reasons why we became a city in 1977 was to stop the kind of development that we saw for many years on the western side of the city. And if you remember back to 1977, there was little development east of Haven. So we were able as a city to develop a general plan to provide for an incredibly well-planned, two huge planned communities, Victoria and Terra Vista, as well as a beautiful lifestyle center in Victoria Gardens. We have some challenges on the west side, but we're doing wonderful things. We're starting to build, we got a state grant to build the first park in southwest Rancho Cucamonga. We are working along 4th Street down in the southern portion of our city to bring new businesses in. Along by the golf course, we have a potential for transit-oriented development. We also are working very diligently along the Foothill Boulevard corridor to bring in mixed-use development in our community. And I really believe over time, we will be able to make Rancho Cucamonga, and one of my visions is when you drive out Foothill Boulevard, you see no difference between the eastern side of our community or the western side of our community. We've got some really great opportunities, and a lot of people are desiring to locate in Rancho Cucamonga. And one of the things that I want to stress is that we are looking for e-commerce kind of warehousing opportunities in the industrial portion of the southern part of our city that's been developed. So we're extremely happy with what's going on. Unfortunately, the state of California took away our redevelopment agency that was the economic engine to redevelop areas along Foothill Boulevard that one would consider to be blighted. But I know of a few things that are in the plans to develop some very wonderful projects on Foothill as well as in the southern portion of our city. So I would rest that there is no doubt that history is the main reason why you see a disparity between the western and the eastern part of our city. And I will tell you, as a mayor and a lifelong resident of this city, I don't know of a better city that you could locate in than the city of Rancho Cucamonga. And that comes from a lot of hard work, from a lot of councils, past, present, and those of the future. We have a vision, and we've never left that vision, and we are so very, very committed to making sure that our general plan is the jewel of the Inland Empire. Thank you.
Mr. Moffett.
Yes, I don't really see a disparity. I know when I moved here in 1972, the only thing was on the west end was Red Hill Country Club, Sunrise Shopping Center, and Coral Homes was coming in and building homes, and they were building them towards the west end because it was closer to Los Angeles. So over the years, as they started to move east, like the mayor said, Victoria Gardens, well, where else would they have put it? They have to go out that way. So in the future of today and tomorrow, you're going to see more growth on the east because there isn't any growth on the west coast anymore. The west side. It's pretty well built out. This city is 80% built out today. So we have 20% left. And I'm not sure if we have a city plan because I haven't had the opportunity to research it. And I'm saying if we have a city plan, then we should look at it right now and not build Foothill along just to have buildings. If we're going to have parks, then they should be where we can afford them. If they're going to have construction zones, we should have the right place, not just build them to build them. It's too important that we want to leave our future generations something beside a cement jungle. Thank you.
Our next question, what can the city do to replace the funds previously generated through the redevelopment agencies? Mr. Moffett.
You know, that's a very difficult question right now because of the fact the economy, the way it is, and the state that are taking our money and they're doling it back. Well, right now, money is tight in the state, in the city, in the federal government. So they're not giving the money back, so we can't just say, just give us more money, we're going to go build. And what would I do? I would curtail all buildings until we can afford it. I would not go out and spend money on things that are unnecessary today. And when things loosen up and we got the funds back from the state, our tax money, folks, our money, and we give it back, then it's time to start expanding again. But until that time, we should tighten our belts. Thank you.
Mr. Michael.
Yes, I would say that the loss of redevelopment agency is going to be manifest itself in economic growth and economic development. Creating businesses that bring in good paying jobs and businesses that bring in a tax base that can allow our city to continue to provide the various amenities that we all enjoy today. We lost redevelopment, that's a thing of the past. If anybody thinks the state of California is going to come back and give us money, that's just not going to happen. They're insatiable about taking our monies. And finally, we have a relationship that we've established in the legislature for the first time in years through the League of California Cities. And I'm very proud to let everybody know that back in September, I was elected the second vice president of the executive board for the California, or League of California Cities at their annual conference in Los Angeles. They did that because they believe in my abilities in a role of leadership. And I can assure you that our city is doing an incredible job of working to bring in wonderful businesses, e-commerce, as I mentioned earlier, in the warehousing sector, where we will be the point of sales for sales tax generation. We have attracted some incredible businesses. We have our city's first microbrewery, where now another microbrewery is considering locating here. Ampistar Pharmaceuticals, we have light manufacturing, we have Evolution Fresh, and some other incredible industries that have chosen Rancho Cucamonga to move to. Another big business, over 1,000 jobs. Inland Empire Health Plant, IEHP, located in the old General Dynamics building. They brought in tremendous amount of job growth. Job growth means people are going to want to live in their houses, and we need to make sure that our development still provides for affordability at every income level in our city, and we've worked hard to do that. So I really do believe that one other thing that I might mention is that our city has had an economic development strategy for the past 10 years. And this year, by the end of this year, we will revise our 10-year into the future economic development strategy, and the City Council will be taking that up probably either at the end of this year or the first part of next year, going forward with the knowledge that we no longer have the greatest economic development tool and engine in the form of a redevelopment agency. It's gone, and it's going to be gone forever. But as second vice president, we're going to work with our state legislature to bring new tools to local government throughout this state to make sure that the legislature gives us a new opportunity to create things similar to a redevelopment agency, but not look the same. Thank you.
Our third question for this evening is, what is the best way to preserve the city's history without costly or protracted disputes, such as occurred with the China House on San Bernardino Road? Historical value, yes, but it's extremely dilapidated. What's the best way for the city to handle these issues going forward? Mr. Michael.
Yes, you know, our historic preservation is critically important to this city, and it has been for many years, but we have lost opportunities to preserve some very, very special structures, such as the China House and all the issues that came along with that. Our city redid our general plan in 2010. We revised our historic preservation ordinance that had never before been revised to the point where we are now requiring a property owner to maintain and not allow any further degradation of a historical building. That occurred under my leadership as mayor. I have lived in this city my entire lifetime. I care deeply about the opportunities we have for historic preservation. But the key component for me is community engagement, community involvement, community partnerships. One partnership that I will share with you is the nonprofit organization that's taken control and got the property from a billboard company, the old Richfield gas station on Foothill Boulevard, that as a child I rode with my father's pickup truck to go get fuel oil for the smudge pots in the orange grove that he had. And I can tell you that those kinds of facilities, we are committed to working and partnering with our nonprofits as best we can. Another wonderful example is the Friends of the Pacific Electric Trail. There's a depot just on the east side of Etiwanda Avenue, right along the Pacific Electric Trail, that has been worked on by our fire department. They boarded it up and protected it and the organization, the Friends of the Pacific Electric Trail, just met with me just this past week. They're meeting with each council member to talk about their vision for that facility, and the ideas and the things that they're talking about are incredibly exciting. So I really do think historic preservation is important. It can't all be done by government. It has to be done by a community that's engaged. We do a lot of work in trying to get revenues for historic preservation and helping, in particular, along the historic houses on Etiwanda Avenue, the Rains House, the Isles House, those facilities and those homes that have been icons in this community for decades. And we have done that by using community development block grant, federal government funds that we get every year. We allocate a portion of our CDBG funds to help restore and continue to improve those structures.
Mr. Moffett.
I find that interesting. When Mr. Mayor said in 2010 they passed a law that the property owner should maintain the property. Well, nothing has been done at that China house for over 4 years. It's fenced off. It sits there. Nothing gets done. And I look at it this way. The Chinese people who were the Gandhi dancers here, way back when they were building the railroad, some of them lived there, and downstairs there was a little store, and it was run by Chinese people. This is their heritage, and they want to protect it because it is probably the only Chinese bastion in the whole city or in the whole Inland Empire. And if these people want to honor some of their heritage, they should have the opportunity, providing that they follow the rules on supporting it up and building it up, and have an engineer go in and look at the structure and see if it is salvageable as it is today, or does it have to be torn down and start from scratch. You see the tiles out there as you walk over there, and those are just tiles that are sitting there. They're not part of the structure. If the Chinese people want to come together with the water department and purchase that and get an okay to build their monument for their heritage, I see nothing wrong with that. After the Gandhi dancers and the railroad was built, many of the Chinese people stayed and became becerros, what they in the Spanish neighborhood was picking grapes and pecans and stuff, and they became American citizens, and their children became American citizens also. So they're part of the heritage here in Rancho Cucamonga, like it or not. And I think the way to resolve it is to bring the water board together and the Chinese contingency together and see if they can work something out and get a structural opinion on it and see if it is viable to fix. And because it is their heritage and they are entitled to it as well as we are, such as the Rain House and the Christmas House and other structures in Rancho Cucamonga, that is our heritage for our future generations. Thank you.
It's now time for our candidates' concluding remarks. We'd like to start with Mr. Moffett.
Okay. So I got a couple minutes. The reason I'm running for city council is I feel we need a change. And I'll give you some of the reasons. Number one, they have not resolved the issue in the animal shelter for 2 years. They swept it under the rug. Now it is the staff's and the council's responsibility to resolve problems, not sweep them over the rug and let them go. Number two, Heritage Park. Because they didn't go along with the city, they locked their bathrooms. For spite, we'll fix you. You guys don't go along with us, we're going to lock your bathrooms. Your bathrooms are done. Number three, wages. Lower echelon wages in Rancho Cucamonga for the people who do the hard labor, mowing the lawns, fixing the streets, have not gotten a raise in over 4 years, as was stated with the council meeting. But yet, top management, city manager makes more than the governor. He's got an assistant, and he's got 2 deputies. And he works 4 days a week. Plus, they get a he gets a $600 a month gasoline. I will cut the gasoline benefits too. If people want to get elected and they want to run for office and serve this city, well, damn it, they can pay for their own gas. I will pay for mine. I will not take that money. And another thing is the codes. We have to resolve our codes and stop sending out code enforcers that act like Gestapo. This is not the way we treat our residents and our citizens who built this city. I think it's time that we look at the whole picture and we bring this city back to realization that the staff works for you, not we work for the staff with our tax money. We pay their salaries. They should do what is expected of them. Thank you.
Mr. Michael.
Yes, thank you. I can truly tell you that it's been an honor and a privilege to serve as your mayor these past 4 years. You know, you're hearing a lot of things tonight, but I will assure you I love the city of Rancho Cucamonga, and I love the direction that it's headed. I take this responsibility very seriously, and I work hard to make sure the city remains the jewel of the Inland Empire. I have a proven track record of leadership, and I'll just share a couple of quick examples. I'm now the San Bernardino Associated Government's president. It's made up of 24 cities and 5 board of supervisors, and they chose me as vice president last year and as president to lead that organization. I also in 2013 received the prestigious James Thalman Award for public service and furthering the cause of local government. I don't do these things because I need to spend more time away from home. I do them because it makes me a better mayor, both regionally and on a statewide basis. I have contacts throughout the state of California that can help Rancho Cucamonga with new innovative ideas and new terms and methods. Also, it's something that's very important to me that during my term is we have received national, statewide, and regional recognitions never before achieved by the city of Rancho Cucamonga. And that happens not because of a city council, it happens because of a city council that allows the staff to be as innovative and as creative as possible. So anybody that stands up here and talks about salaries and everything else has got it wrong. And I will say one last thing, that one of the things that I'm very happy about is what we did for the business community in this city during my term as mayor. When I was first elected mayor, we decided we were going to eliminate all the bureaucracy and the plan check review process. We were going to streamline systems and the programs and revise our development code that hasn't been revised in decades. We did the whole thing, and now I will tell you, when a businessman comes to do business in Rancho Cucamonga, they are saying thank you for the wonderful job that your staff are doing. And lastly, in conclusion, you have my commitment to continue to work hard to assure Rancho Cucamonga remains a wonderful, beautiful place to live, raise a family, own a business, and work. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your kind attention tonight. This concludes our candidates forum. Have a great night. Drive safe.